Hello, everybody, and welcome to Paper3D.art. This is Introduction to Maya, and we are on Lesson 9, What are components? So a component is essentially the anatomy of a 3D object. So before we commence, however, I'd like to give you a little bit of a summary on what comprises with this part of a tutorial, because we have moved away now from creating objects but also from moving objects. So I'll show you the screen. So I have prepared another project scene for you, fellas. So we're going to do, I'm just going to cover a little bit, what are components. And I'm going to give you an example of what a component is. We're going to do a little bit of object manipulation so we can match the colored objects to the yellow ones, but we're also going to do a little bit of selection where we're going to select different parts and color them as well with this thing called Vertex painting, which I'll cover with you in a second. After that, we're going to do a little bit of software manipulation so you can do complex shapes with only selecting a part of an object, and then after that, with learning on how to do the different components, we're going to grab the model from the right, this one here, and we're going to fix it to what's meant to look like. Yeah. So we just got, let's say that the theme is, we got manufactured telescope that it's broken and we need to fix it. And last and not least, we're going to just essentially use these parts here, put these parts together, and we're going to build this house set here with pieces. All right. So let's commence. Very good. Just mind you, that summary is for 3 or 4 lessons, yeah? So I'm just showing you a bit of a summary for that entire file that we are going to set up now. And I'll give you a little bit of a summary on how to set it up. So if we go here in File, so first, let's go to the link below. You can download this file here. So just go patreon.com/packer3.art. And then just go to this 09 components and download the component street file. Unzip it. And then after you unzip it, which there is a whole lesson about this. I recommend that you do that lesson if you're not sure what the hell I'm talking about. File, set project. Wherever you have unzipped the file, hopefully somewhere organized, you select on the root and you press set. After you've set up the project, and the reason we want to set up the project is because we want to make sure that there are files loaded up. If you just double click on the scenes, some of the files will not load or some things will not load proper. Yeah. File, open scene. And then we're going to go these 2 components, underscore, there might be a number or not, that doesn't matter. Open. Don't save. And we got this. Now, before we commence, if for whatever reason, the unzip file has got a lot of things, so it looks messy, I am using, from now on, the layers to show and unshow objects. I'm not going to go through a lot of detail, but this is very common in the industry to have things organized into layers, so then things are a lot easier to hide or unhide, but also to merge scenes or to reference things. If you don't know where to find this, you can find this in the channel editor. So just press on this button here, the top right corner, and V means visible. So if you got everything on, feel free to turn everything off, and we just comments in the first one, components. Yeah. So let's get to the juice of the topic. So what is a component? So a component is essentially what makes an object in 3D. So you have seen a lot of times this weird grid kind of thing. Whenever you select an object, it looks like the frame, or it looks like a wireframe, and essentially it's the different parts of this wireframe. So whenever you're selecting an object, you have The yellow dots here, which I've textured this cube for you, these are vertex for singular, or for plural is vertices. However, for the lines that are connecting here, these are called edges. And an edge is essentially what's being connected between the two dots. But then, so we got dot, dot, dot. And then after that, we got the edges. Let's say anything that's being filled in the middle, it's what's called a face. And don't make any face jokes or like just like your face kind of jokes, because I don't know why I find that funny, but it's kind of rude as well. I love it. I don't know. Like your face. Anyways, that's a face, right? It's anything that's being in connecting. So if you have a face that's being formed by 3 vertices, just like this is what you call a triangle. And in the industry, it depends. If you're in the games industry, things are very commonly optimized to be triangles, to be optimized. But if you work in the visual effects industry, triangles are big no-no. It's like, no, oh my God, you got a triangle there. It's the end of the world. And you're going to have people with or against it very, very easily. But then if you want to do good modeling practices and you want to be a good boy, I recommend that you do things with triangles. And I'll go that in deep a little bit later, because with squares, what's really awesome about them is that they are very, very easy to subdivide, but also to manipulate. So if you've got like a square like this, for example, if you want to slice it in half like a ninja, then it's very easy to subdivide it. And this is why quads are amazing, because if you want to subdivide a model a few times and add resolution, it's very easy. But also if you want to add loops, or if you want to manipulate the object, or if you want to make UVs, like there's a number of reasons that when you subdivide a square, it's so much easier, right? Because, you can multiply it or divide it very easily. Now, if anyone here is an ex-Blender user, or if anyone is really into Blender, people love N-gons in Blender, because Blender does a pretty good job at it. But it is also the arch enemies of a lot of models. So say if you have, this is what's called an N-gon. So anything that's got more than 5 or 6 edges without anything that's being connected or cut in the middle. This is what is called an N-gon. All right, let me just call this is quad. And this is a N-gon. And an N-gon, they are, Macarena N-gons. Now, triangles are cool if you are a person that likes to optimize things in games engines, or if you want to like make the most out of a model. Otherwise, to model and to edit, quads, very easy, very quick. N-gons, man, if you got anything that's more than 5 or 6 edges, unless it is perfectly flat, I do not recommend that at all. If anything has got like it's bending, N-gons are not cool. But some people might be okay with it. Some people might say, oh yeah, N-gons are great. Oh my God, I love it. Just be careful with N-gons. But that's anything that you've got more than 6 sides. Okay? So let's go through the different selections and how you can do the different selections on being able to operate a model. So the different ways that you're able to select a model is if you hold down the right click. By the way, if you don't have anything selected, this is what's going to happen. You need to select the model first. And then you hold down the right click button, and then you'll have this little radial menu options. And you got on the left, you got vertex, up, you got edges, and down, you have faces. So this is what enables you to switch between one and the other one with ease. So if you go select the model, right click, vertex. Now this is what enables you to select and make a selection. So you draw a little marquee tool, little box, or you click on it once like that. Like if your mouse gets close, you see, and it usually highlights whatever is the closest. Then it will go red, and then you click it, that's been selected. So it might be hard to see on the screen, but it goes green. So purple means it's not selected. But then if you get mouse gets close, you see that's little highlight kind of a thing, which in red means, okay, if you click it, it's going to be selected, then it becomes green, which is really cool. And then if you want to select a bunch of them, you can just draw a box, and that's going to select a bunch of vertices like that. Okay, but say that you want to select edges, then again, you hold on the right click button, edges. And when you select an edge, it's like you're selecting two vertices in a way. And that's the same thing where if you hover the mouse around, all these are turning red. But then if you click on it once, it turns green. Yeah. And anything that's been selected, then it goes red. I mean, not red. It becomes orange. Okay. But now let's say that you want to go and select a face. You hold down the right click button and you go face. All right. So feel free to get with the practice to go, because you're going to do this a lot. You're going to do this so much. You're going to go vertex, edge, face. Like get the hang of doing that a few times. Get the practice of doing that, and then go vertices, edges, face, vertices, edges, and just do that like you are crazy. Like you really love doing this. You go, oh my God, this is amazing. I can just do this all day long and just get the hang of doing that. Because you're going to be doing it a lot. Trust me, you're going to do it so much. Like it has to become second nature. All right. So say you go face. This is how you select the face. You just click on it. It highlights red when the mouse is on top of it. And if you click it once with the left mouse, it becomes selected. Yeah. Now, let's select a box that's a little bit, don't need this anymore. Let's hide it. And now let's do a selection with a bigger cube. By the way, just to get you excited, yeah, when it comes with a model, right, that's got all the different faces and it's got all these edges and everything. Sometimes, it gets to the point that you become a model art that you don't think about primitives anymore, or you don't think about boxes or cubes or cylinders or spheres. You eventually, in some point, you make things or you build things, right? So here, for example, if I unhide this low poly, you can have something as complex as this. So if you look at the wireframe here, right? It is essentially like a bunch of faces and there's a bunch of points. And this is a very good example on why having quads is very good, because then if I want to select a loop, for example, if I want to select just Control-1, so we can just see the model itself. If I want to select just the loop around the eyes, I can just select one, double click, and that's a loop, a very distinct loop that goes around the eyes. So you can see here, okay, the topology is being made in mind that you have the loops going around that. And this is why quads are so good, right? But then you have the nose that goes around here. It goes in a straight line, but then the one below, the nose goes around the mouth. And this is why it's very important to have a topology where, okay, so this makes sense, because you got quads going a specific way. So if you want to have the character talking or do anything like that, it's actually going in that direction. Where was I? So selecting and deselecting things. So let's make a cube. Okay. Increase the cube a little bit, and I'm gonna show you a few things with this cube when it comes to selecting and deselecting things. So while we have this cube selected, we're gonna press T for Tarantula. And we're gonna change the subdivisions, just do something like 10, 10, 10. above as well. And the reason why we're doing this is so I'm going to show you a few tips and a few techniques on how you select and deselect things. Because the only thing that I've done so far is if you draw a marquee box, that's you can select many of them, but you click on them, you're selecting. But how do you deselect? And how do you reverse the selection? And how can you select a loop? And how can you select a ring, right? So you have different typologies as well, but also different techniques on a lot of these. So now that we've got this box heated up, I'm gonna go max mode so you can see a bit easier. It's a full screen. And say that we go in phase mode here. If you select one, that's how you do it. But if you want to increase the selection, you can hold down the shift button. And the shift button here, you get a minus or you get a plus. That's because when you do shift, it's essentially you are inversing the selection. Shift means inverse. So you can go click here, like that, but then you can go back here and deselect, right? Just by holding down shift. But say, let's, I don't know, do an M, a small M, you can go like that. And now you've done an M, right? But then if you hold down shift and you draw a box, it inverses it, right? So just be mindful that although shift can be quite quicker to do one or the other one, it can be quite destructive as well. So how do you just add or just remove, right? So say that we draw a box here. And what I want to show you is be careful what you select in the back swirl whenever you do this, because it's not like if you draw a box here like that, like so, you might select something behind it by accident. So to remove it, hold down Control, and then you will see a minus icon in the mouse, and that means anything that you draw is going to make a minus. So now it's only got the front selected, right? But let's say that, yeah, if I hold down Control, then you can just go like that very easily. And then you can just say, for example, make the windows of a house here or something like that quite easily, right? So that's to remove selections very easily. Now, what if I just want to add? So remember how before, if this is to inverse selections like that with shift, but if you just want to add, you can do shift and Control. And now this is going to select no matter what. So even if I go here, it's not deselected anymore. So if I go and draw a box like that, it's not inverted anymore, it's actually adding. So this will always add if you hold down Control and Shift, like that. And it's gonna do both very easily, short Control and Shift, okay? All right, so summary, we have Shift to inverse, Control to erase, and Shift and Control to do addition. What if we want to select a loop, right? Which I did earlier a couple of times. Say if you want to select a loop, just select the first one first of anything, and then you double click the next to it. So if I go like that once, it's not going to happen. You have to double click it. You go click, double click, click, double click, click, double click. And that's how you can select the loop very easily. So I can go like that and go, hi. All right, that was very racist. I'm sorry. I mean to do. I'm just trying to be funny. All right, but that's how you can do a selection like that. And say now you want to deselect, it works the same way by holding down Control. So if I go hold down Control and I go like that, that's now how you're doing deselection. Be mindful because there's an exercise later that you are required to do something similar of this caliber. So this is important, yeah? This knowledge, so to know how to do deselection very easily. Like that, so And this works as well for edges. It also works for loops and works as well for vertices. So if we go, by the way, I'm going to show you a trick. This is really cool. If you go like that, do you see how quick that was? So right click and doing left, if you just do a gesture, so if I go hold down and then you go very quick like that and you let go, it changes really quickly. So you can go boom, boom, boom. And also notice it remembers the selection that you've got. So if you've got, for example, these faces and then you go edges and have a bunch of edges selected, it remembers the selection as well, which is pretty cool. And you can switch these really quickly between the goals and go boom, boom, boom. And this is really common. So if anyone is wondering here, how the hell I'm changing between this so quickly, it's because I'm just holding down the right button and go up, down, left, and it's gone. And you can change this really quickly. But sorry, I got lost in the jungle. So if you go double click directly, that's to select that entire loop. But a ring is essentially when you are selecting the neighbors of a loop. So the way that it works is you can just get close to that cube here. You select a singular fella, and then you double click it holding down shift, and boom. Now this is what you're selecting a ring. And you need to do this sometimes in order to do some modeling procedures. So this is very important. So you can go click, double click, click, double click, click, double click. And that's how you can add them, right? But if I want to remove, click, double click with control, and that will erase it. All right. Cool. What else? If you want to increase the selection, say that you want to select a bunch of faces like this, and you want to increase the selection, like it just grows like a disease or like cancer. Well, maybe let's not use that example. It grows like a flower, or like a patch of grass. And then you hold down shift, and then it is like the period button, like this one, yes, but then that is to grow. And then this is to ungrow, right? So essentially what it does, it picks the neighbor faces, and then it goes boom, 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 out and in. It just goes in and out, which is really cool. And it works as well with edges. So it grows, and it becomes smaller. And it happens as well with vertices. You select a single vertex, and then you go shift, right click, it grows, and then it becomes smaller. And this is a very, really common technique in order to grow and ungrow selections. Yeah. Going further, there is a lot, by the way, each time that I show one of these things, pause the video and try it yourself, because there's a lot that I'm going through. Now, what's another really cool thing with selections is how you can select things using a pattern. So let's say that I want to make an S, and I want to do a really cool S. What you can do is you select the first one, but if you select the next one going down, it's going to do a loop automatically. However, if you go something that's quite distant, if you click once, it's just going to select it, yeah? But if you click once and then you double click, it's going to select anything that's in between in the shortest route. So if you go double click here, now that's going to select a line. And now the last one that you were selected, you can double click it, and then it's going to follow that pattern. So say that I want to do a cool CEO. It will select that for you very automatically. And what's really cool is, say that you want to select the inner faces. What you can do is just make it bigger and then make it smaller again. And that's it. Look at that. I've selected all those faces quite quickly. Yeah? Or say that you want to be even smaller. You can just go here, double click, here, double click. Well, that's not what I want. Interesting. And then you can just go throw selection and boom, you got your scene. All right. Am I running out of things to show you with selection? I think that's a lot. I recommend that you have a bit of a play with this. Just do some cool things like that. Like you can just experiment and go, all right, so I've done a C there now. Like you can do some really cool shapes. It's quite important that you get comfortable with selecting things like this, because in the next video, we're going to do a few things. What we're going to do is, after that you have a bit of a play doing with this kind of stuff and just selecting faces and doing selections like this, make sure that you retain that information very well, because we're going to have a few exercises later to teach you how to do this kind of stuff. There is one more thing that I want to show you, however. And then I've got a mini exercise for you to do. So say that you have a plane or something like this. You have this thing called soft selection. So soft selection means it's a gradients between what you've got selected to not selected, but it's like a soft selection. So it's not just on and off. Because if you move a component by itself, this is what happens. Yeah, it becomes really harsh. But if you press B for buffalo, you have this gradient kind of a thing. Yeah. And it might be kind of small at the moment because it's got a radius on how big it can be. So in order to adjust that radius, you can hold down B, middle mouse, and then you get this wheel, like essentially this sphere that grows as you move your mouse further. And then what happens is everything becomes red around it. So I'm going to make it pretty big, but not too big, because black means it almost does not affect it. And then you have yellow, orange, red. So you have yellow, orange, red, and then black. And black means it barely does anything. So now that I've got that selected, if you move that up and down, you see it becomes like a sphere. And that's like a soft selection for you. All right? I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to go next. But yeah, feel free after you have a bit of a play with that. What I want you to do is I want you to match these shapes to the one that's here. I'm not going to give you the answers yet on how to do it. I want you to have a crack at it first. And we can go to the next video after this. All right, rocky-dokie. So I think it's time to give the answers to your videos, all right? Because some of you might look at this and be like, what does it mean? Like, how does this work? Okay, but it is good to experiment and it's good to have fun. It's good to have the exercise. You should not wait for the answers. And it's going to be, a lot of this video is going to be like this, where I go, all right, do this, then come back to me. All right? I'll teach you the basics. I teach you the tools. Now you do it. Because if you copy everything that I do over and over again, you're not going to have the affinity to come up with your own problems and solutions here for a lot of these things. So, problems and solutions. We're going to essentially duplicate with these objects with moving things, right? And try to match them. So, in order to have the same silhouette of the house with its shape, what I did is, without having the soft selection on, you can select back and the front, and then move that to match that line. If it is a little bit out or in, what you can do is get it as close as possible, and then you can, to move this, you can hold down V, and then you can snap that to make sure that it is the same distance as that. And then the last thing I did is just move this up, and that's it. You got your house there. All right, and only if you want to. If you want to match it to the same height as that, you can also hold down V, and then it will match it to that as well. Okay. You got your house there. Let's do the tree. Very similar. So what I did is I draw a box to select those vertices, move that to the top. And then let's have a look to see the wireframe. And then move down to that a little bit. And then I did the same here, just select that. Move that up a little bit. Now, there's something off about this. Oh wow, okay. Okay, so, this is not completely done. Jesus, I completely forgot about this. So, let's select those sides there, sure. And I think I know how to fix this, but if I do this from the center, okay, this is not what I was expecting. Oh no, how should I fix this? Oh, I know. You can select this and open it this way. There you go. Perfect. And that's how you can fix that part there. Cool. Let's move to the next part here. Now, this is a little bit more challenging, and I do not expect all of you to do this right from the bat. And there's going to be a small technique here that I haven't shown yet. So we're going to move this to the top. Shoop. And then after that, we're going to scale it down this way. Shoop. Like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to select this one here and move that out. Double click, move that out. And like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like if you want perfection, you can just hold down V, match that to that. Okay, so if you ever want to make a selection, say that you want to select this whole loop. If you double click that, it's not going to work. If you draw a box like that, it's going to select a bunch of things. But what you can do, if you go side view, so let's go front view, like so, and let's see if we can find that bin. If you draw a box like that, and say you only want to select those top part, you do a box like this, and then with erase, with control, you go boom, and boom, that's it. And now I'm just going to press V there. Press D here to match with that, and I think that can be, I just realized maybe I do need to select, that's going to be even more challenging, but not undoable. There you go. So now we can move that day down, and then move this one down there. And this is why it's nice to have the full cardinal view, so you can see front top view. All right, so now you might be thinking, cool story, bro, but do I need to select each of these one by one and go around? Man, this is gonna take ages, yo. Okay, no, this is fun. Okay, cool. Then what you can do is you select one and pay attention, because there is a couple of exercises later that we're going to use this. So what you can do is up here where it says select, you can press this little button here called similar. And what it does, it will select polygons that are very similar. Never noticed that there is a window here. So there's a similarity tolerance. Cool. So if you press apply, there you go. It selects all the polygons that are similar in length and size. So the way that it works with similarity is it picks things that are similar length or similar size. So if, say for example, this one here was a little bit longer, like that, and then you do that same similar command, then it will not select it anymore, because it's one of the lengths of the things is a little bit skewed, right? Or say if this one here was a bit shorter, and then you do that same similar aspect, you go select similar, it doesn't select it anymore, yeah? So it's quite useful if you want to select something that's got a similar size. And then I'm just gonna scale it in. Voila, oh, mon chéri. So the next accent I'm gonna show this just to cut down the video because now, oh my God, 7 minutes. So I need this to Jesus. I waffle a lot, man. I waffle too much. But this is important. We need to learn this because it's with one of the exercises. So go to modeling, mesh display, and then let's use the apply color. Let's grab this with the tool. So the way this works is just use replace color, and we're gonna apply color to geometry. So if you click on the color here, this will give, just pick a hue. So I'm just gonna pick a hot pink. You can just choose a red if you want. If you don't want to be that flirtatious, just whatever. And then what is cool about this is it's still teaching you, to select things. So I'm just selecting those, color, press apply, and then cool, that's pink. Select those here at the bottom. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna pick a beige white. Like, why not just go beige white? Apply, yellow. Okay, so we got that there. Now, don't worry, they don't have to be perfect. It's more about being able to select colors and change colors. With this part here, instead of selecting everything perfectly, I'm just gonna select the top, increase selection with shift and that arrow, right arrow. Should perhaps learn the name of that symbol. And now we've got that selection there. Just pick like a happy pink, or no, green. I don't know, like a healthy green, and then a brown. And we're gonna do this a little bit later again. Cool. Apply. This was all the same color, but cool. By the way, I think I missed this earlier. If you double click one face, it selects all the faces. Yeah, just double click on the first face and we watch, and just pick a rubbish bin green. Did I just say that? A rubbish bin green. Anyways, and yeah, that's it. Oh my God. And then, yeah, I will finish with this video. Upload it to the internet, and then, but the next video, and you can do this without me. You should be able to do this without me, most of it. What we're gonna do is do the color vertex exercise here. The only part you might not be able to do this without my help. So I want you to do this as an exercise, but I will upload it for the next video because otherwise it's gonna get too long. But there is one thing that I want to teach you with this exercise here. So just create a plane 10 times 10 and color these things. Do the same with Mario. Just say, with this one here, it's I think 16 times 16. This one here creates cylinder. This one's here create plane. This one here to extrude. You just have to hold down shift and then you can extrude faces very easily. So get this done as an exercise, but I will show you one last thing. And then I'll let you go, I promise. Promises were made. So if you have a face like this, with slow selection, so if I select this and then I press B for buffalo, right? And I scroll down. So this is how you can have a wave or something like this, which is really cool. But say that, just to give a bit more resolution, so let's do 20 times 20. And I know I might be going a bit too fast, but I want to cut this shorter. If we got that as a soft selection there, we grow that a little bit. Yeah, that is very gradient. Yeah, it's just from white to black without being Michael Jackson now. If you want to adjust those settings, what you can do is if you double click on the arrow here, or if you click on this one here, which is the tool options, you'll get the still dial here. And then you'll have a little tab here called soft selection. So you see how here you have yellow, red, and black. So if you don't like those colors, you can make this whatever color you want if you've got a preference. So if you want to say green and whatever, is there a way to undo that? Because now everyone's going to get very confused. Okay, cool. But with those settings in here, you have this here. This is the radius. Remember how earlier, if you hold down B, you can do it through here as well. It can do volume, surface. All of these are really good options. I recommend that you have a play with them with modeling. And you can also adjust the fall-off curve. Yeah, so this will be very radial. This one here is like a balloon. So if you move it up and down, it feels very soft. But the one that I want you to explore is this one here. Okay, and that's how I did some of these shapes here. So if we look at that now and we move that, you go, oh my God, that's amazing. I love that. Yeah. And that's how you can get that sexy, wavy kind of effect, and you can be cool about it, and you can do some interesting shapes with that. Okay? And experiment with that, y'all. Cool. I'll let you to it, and thank you so much. And yeah, we'll do some pattern, color pattern kind of stuff with the next exercise. All right, guys, like I said, yeah. Most likely, we're going to do the patterns with the next video. We're going to do a couple of more, like we're going to adjust the pivot point as we are moving things, which is very important because sometimes the pivot point can define the direction, but also of things on how they're moved, but also with how things are rotated. So we're going to experiment with that. And we're going to experiment as well with how to fix the telescope. So there is a telescope in the scene, and we're going to fix that. So I'm going to try to get that done with the next video. But I'll see you guys very soon. And yeah, thank you so much. And remember to subscribe, like, share, and comment.